Okay, and kickoff. So here we go. This is the team game. This is where, um, let's see, it's Pepsi person is Russia. We're playing Dan, who is Germany. Myself, who is playing UK, which generally is my favorite side to play. John Roberts is Japan, and we got Commander Com on US. It is my turn, round one. Real quick summary. As you can see, West Russia did not go so great. Pepsi person chose to build 8 infantry, so we had an 8 infantry build. He also hit here and then retreated, which came to, let's see, round one. Here we go. So they lost a artillery, 3 infantry, and a bomber, so they lost 5 units. He only lost 2 units when he retreated. So a lot of people would say you should continue through. And I probably would have as well myself to try to get the tank and the fighter, and then just take it with an artillery and 3 tanks and throw the AA in there and make the retake of Ukraine challenging. But retreating, when you just look at the units, it's not a bad 5 units for 2 units trade. So, and the 8 infantry, that definitely leads into a little more possibility of a KJF on the table, if only we hadn't lost so many infantry in West Russia. So we were glad that they didn't try to go directly for West Russia, but certainly this is going to be a challenge in that stake. Right now I just messaged John Roberts to see if he's okay with me putting the sub in 37, because I am leaning towards doing the UK twist here. Mainly because in aggressive Germany, I want to try to limit how many Japan planes can land in Kwangtung on J1, so that J2, they're not coming up and supporting, landings throughout the area. So, we'll see. Plus, we'll see how he responds to the cruiser setup. If he leaves the cruiser open, that definitely leaves more of a door open for a KJF. Commander Com's already let me know he is perfectly comfortable with doing a KJF, so we'll see where that goes. Meanwhile, here we go. We need to take our first round R1 versus Antron here. Nothing's going to be surprising here. It's mainly, let's see what the dice give us. I always am hoping for a relatively neutral, just round one and through all the way up to US. A relatively neutral round one is my ideal. I don't like to win the game because of dice on round one. I don't like to lose a game because of dice on round one. I would just like the game to matter beyond round one. Unfortunately, as you get to more and more equivalent players, which I would say Antron and I, as I mentioned, are pretty equivalent. Him probably slightly better than me. It becomes more of a deciding factor. If they're swingy, then it's going to be harder for someone to come back without some sort of swingy dice to bring you back. So here we go. So kind of the ideal here for a neutral would be like 5 to 6 infantry living. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I need him to whiff on everything here. That wasn't a whiff on everything. Ugh. That's not good. Normally West Russia's not the concern. This may be shorter than longer. if I had a good West Russia, this is where I would definitely retreat. This is the perfect Ukraine that I love to retreat into, but with West Russia like it is, I need to pull Germany the other way as much as possible. So, yeah. Let's see what that looks like. We may have to do something like that just to hope to discourage anything here. You know what? With dice this bad, we're just going to say it's dice this bad. And if we're going to get into it, we're going to need something miraculous to happen anyways. So, found out in the team game, I used a created a custom profile at one point, and I accidentally put it as my default. So I've been running with a funky default there, but because the variance is so small, you just don't notice it until it's too late. You know what? We may have to do the poll to everybody. I mean, with this low here. We're going to do the pull everybody back. We're going to put the UK fighter, hopefully the UK fighter lives in there. And I am going to leave this one here, and hopefully UK fighter, I'm just going to give Japan options. I mean, so when you have a bad opener like this, you got to give them favorable battles. You just can't avoid it. You got to give them favorable battles that hopefully, if they fail, will be costly. So hopefully we got enough here, you know, that he would have to, he would have to use his 2 tanks, his 3 infantry, his 3 fighters, and he wouldn't have, he would have 4 infantry and a tank left to hit here, and maybe these guys can hold that off well. He'd have his transport too, And then over here on this side, I need to get units back to make up for the fact there's only 2 here. We need to get units back in quickly. I was considering bringing him back as well, but instead I'm going to end up giving him a... I'm just going to assume and hope that the fighter lives. 2 infantry, 2 fighter for him to try that attack into. But then he has to pull fighters from other battles, which we're going to have our setup of the UK twist down here probably. So I don't know. We're just going to try and give him too many options, basically, as Japan, where he has to choose. And a lot of weaker players will try to choose to hit everything and then fail badly. I think Antron will probably focus on what he wants as his primary target and what he wants as a defense, and he's not going to get himself overextended like that. But that's what I'm going to do to make up for this, is give him favorable battles and hope for dice to return the favor, and give him options for Japan, and hopefully he overextends himself, or again, bad dice. So that's really how you have to play when you have a bad dice starting. You just got to do what you can. So, all right, well, here we go.